Right, welcome back. I was talking to my dad today, and he's a rather curious lot sometimes. But he was sort of getting on me about, hey, why don't you fix that amp that I gave you a long time ago, referring to this amp. This FM212 DSP by Fender. So I was like, well, maybe it's a good time for me to put it back on the bench. As you can already tell, I've done a lot of work on this amp. And this was the amp that got me looking into working on amplifiers and, amplifier repair. This is the amp that I got bit by the bug pretty good. So, I'm a pastor and I have a part-time job and then I have this passion as well. So anyway, we're going to try again to figure out what's going on. And right here at this power resistor, there is like 20 volts of DC, which there shouldn't be over 100 millivolts of DC, if that much. The least amount, the better, like, 2 to 3 millivolts, something like that at the most. But anyway, we have 20 volts DC roughly right here. And this goes to the positive terminal, speaker terminal right here. So this will fry a speaker pretty quick, or a pair of speakers or whatever. So I have to run a very big, this is a 4 ohm amplifier, so I have a 200 watt 4 ohm power soak resistor that can take the heat. Good thing is I haven't seen anything blow up on here. I've had all these components removed. I even replaced the voltage regulator over here, which is a 5 volt regulator. When I don't fully understand about transistors and things, I've done a lot of studies on transistors as well as tubes, and there's different kind of transistors. You have these here, voltage regulator that looks a lot like a transistor, and so anyway, all that aside, I've just got to do more studying. What I think is going on, since we have 20 volts DC hitting this positive terminal, and I've got the schematic for this amp, thank the Lord for that, is that perhaps one of these transistors, or possibly a diode, and or one of the transistors, like on the emitter path perhaps of one of the transistors, the resistors hooked to that, has gone faulty. The solder connection could be bad. I don't know. I've looked at the other side of this board several times, and I don't see any bad solder from the factory. But you never know. But I will say that by looking at things, you wouldn't think anything is wrong. I just had this laying over right there so I could get to it. So at this point there's no telling. I know that when removing these two wires here, it allows everything as far as voltage wise to run smoothly. We don't have an overheating problem here. We don't have that voltage swing, but as soon as both of these are hooked up to, where they go from the factory, as soon as both of them are hooked up, the problem begins. And I mean, I have to run it on a current limiter or else it'll burn something up. So I don't quite know what's going on, but that's what my suspicion is. It's a transistor or a resistor, possibly an emitter resistor, and or a diode in the path that has gone wonky. And as you can see, I replaced these capacitors with the style that I had in stock, and that didn't do anything. So anyway, we're going to start looking at this and see if we can get it going and make Dad proud. So anyway, that's all I got for now. Thank you for stopping by. God bless.